Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Ultimate Nightmares run, where we take the characters that are hardest to beat on the new Nightmare mode, as chosen by you, and try to win with them. Today we're playing the Pacifist, which is definitely one of the characters I've been asked about the most, and one of the characters I think is going to be hardest on Nightmare mode, and especially on full projectile mode, which is what I've been playing Nightmare mode on, because this character not being able to push enemies away from itself to prevent the environmental projectiles from hitting you, because you can't push those, will be extremely dangerous. Normally on the Pacifist you go with 6 hands, but I do think that there's a couple variants we could try. If we're struggling to heal, we could add in 2 or 3 pruners for the gardens, which can give us some healing, or if we're struggling to keep enemies away from us, adding in like 1 taser might be pretty reasonable. But let's start with 6 hands and see if we can get there on our first run. We're on Crash Zone, which is, I think, a little worse for us, while we will make a little more money because there's more enemies. In particular, this first wave is kind of rough on Crash Zone for the Pacifist because enemies have 4 health, whereas on the Abyss, they don't, and you can actually get enemy kills. You make a lot more money when you can actually kill the enemies on the Pacifist, because the passive gives you 0.65 materials and XP for every living enemy at the end of the wave. But if you kill them, you just get 1. So it's a little better if you can actually kill stuff. I'm going to just ban Scared Sausage. We get 7 materials that way. Really important to get off to a good start on this character, because you need to have really high economy really quickly. And that's one of the ways to do that. We'll take the harvesting there, buy a hand. Cake, I will take. Alien Tongue, I'm going to ban. We just won't be dropping enough consumables to make this useful healing, so we're just going to go ahead and ban it. I'm not going to lock the cake, but we'll leave it in the pool. I am pretty uninterested in buying the whistle, because we're never going to kill the loot aliens, and we will just not be able to be a damage pacifist, I think, most likely on Nightmare mode, so I'm going to ban anything that does damage, pretty much. We'll go ahead and ban Gummy Berserker. Penguin is okay healing, so we'll leave that in the pool. Really looking for more hands. Very happy to get that, and Coupon and Scar are great finds. And then we'll roll, buy another hand. I won't be able to buy another one if I roll into it, unfortunately, but I can at least lock it. Only finding 4. Wow, that's rough, taking those hits. Only finding 4 is pretty bad. This is a very cheap weapon, so... And we had the extra 7 materials from dropping a crate. So I was hoping to be able to find 5 hands. I really need some attack speed. As you can see, it's pretty tough not to take hits this wave. But we'll take 5 harvesting here, and then here I am going to grab 5% attack speed. Just having a little more attack speed will help us make sure, because hand actually has pretty low attack speed by default. So adding a little bit more will help us push the enemies away from us a little more reliably, so I'm not taking those hits. And then we got our full set of weapons. Now, hand, you don't have to level it up because it gets extra attack speed and extra harvesting. So it is good to level it, but you can just start buying other stuff. In this spot, I can level my hands a couple times, and we will get a pretty significant boost to the attack speed. We also get 3 more harvesting, so I'm going to go for that on wave 2 here. But I think for 7, I'm actually not going to reroll because we, again, got a little unlucky rolling for weapon levels there. With most weapons, we would happily reroll for 7 to try to level our weapons, but hand, you don't have to level as much as other weapons. And so, because of course, the damage doesn't really go up, just the harvesting, and you spend money in order to get that. So it's not really a hyper-efficient level up most of the time. So I'm fairly happy to just save the money there. And then I actually kind of trapped myself in the corner, but I knew that the wave was going to end, so that was fine. And it takes 6 dodge here. I want to get to 60 dodge as quickly as possible. We have 15 dodge from using an unarmed weapon, so we're very happy to pick that up. And then I'm also going to take 2 armor here. I have 62 harvesting, so I could take a little more, but I think picking up armor is more important. We're going to buy the coupon, hand, and scar, and we're just not going to leave materials on the ground, so I'm just going to ban the loot worm here, because we're not killing enemies. I don't care at all about lowering my melee damage. And do I want alien worm? Consumable healing is not going to be a major factor in our healing setup, because we're not killing enemies to drop fruits. So they basically only come from trees. So I think I will take the alien worm. It makes garden bad. It means that we probably won't be using the pruner setup if that becomes something that I'm interested in. But HP and regen is really important. So I am just going to buy the alien worms here, and then we'll roll, lock a hand, and lock a gentle alien. Now I do have to decide if I want to ban weird food, because I can lock it and then ban it. And I think I will, because I don't want to decrease my dodge, and consumable healing is not an important part of our current setup, where it looks like we are just not going to be doing that in this run. So this is a very rare, not only not buying weird food, which you'll almost never see, but actually banning it and removing it from the item pool. Which I'm sure I've done before, but you can probably count the number of times that that's happened on, like, 2 fingers. Not even 1 hand. Alright, much cleaner wave there because I had a lot more attack speed, so I was much more easily able to stay ahead of the enemies from leveling up my weapons. And I will buy 10 harvesting. The regen is also pretty important, but 10 harvesting is nice here. Luck is mostly useless to this character, because again, you're not killing enemies, and luck is mostly to drop consumables. So I could take 5 attack speed, I could re-roll for a defensive stat. I think I'm going to re-roll here, and I'll re-roll 1 more time, and then taking a level 2 regen upgrade is pretty good. Gentle Alien is still worth buying, because you still get the money from having more enemies on the field. And then we'll ban the weird food and re-roll. Alright, I mean, we're just buying a lot of alien worms. I think that's totally fine. Once we've bought a bunch of them, and consumable healing is no longer something that we're doing at all, then they become fairly efficient, because it's just a lot of HP and regen. I will also take both the bat and the ugly tooth. Lifesteal is not great for this character, but we want all the defensive stats that we can get, and it will still be somewhat relevant, and ugly tooth can help keep enemies off us as we push them away. I'm going to reroll twice here because I'm looking to lock a couple more items while they're still cheap and while our rerolls are cheap. Darkness Wave should generally be a lot easier than projectile waves, because we can just move away from the enemies. I'm very worried about wave 10, because on nightmare mode on wave 10, oh no, wait, this is crash zone. So I was thinking about the group of walruses that spawn on wave 10 on the abyss, but we don't have to worry about that, because that's a different map. We did get a crate out of a tree, which is a pretty unusual thing to happen to this character. I'm just gonna recycle the injection. I'm still not building % damage here, and then I will reroll. I could take 2 regen or 5 attack speed, but I feel like I can get a higher level upgrade, and we got 6 dodge, which is great. I'll take 6 max HP as well. Then I will buy these items and reroll here. We will buy a hand and a plant, and we're up to 12 regen and 30 dodge. I need more armor as well, but I've also got all level 2 hands, which is pretty nice. Propeller hat, I'm still going to skip, and then I will roll here. Fruit basket doesn't do anything because we're never killing enemies. Baby gecko, we're not interested in either. So let's re-roll this. Alright, so now I have to decide if I'm leveling my hands anymore. We get 3 harvesting by leveling from level 2 to level 3. And I think it is worth buying, or sorry, 6 harvesting, because we go from 6 to 12. They changed hand, actually. So I think it is worth leveling up. We don't gain that much attack speed, but we gain some. And we get 6 harvesting there. I'll lock the metal plate, and I'll go ahead and combine and buy a level 1 hand, and then roll, lock another level 1 hand. I probably won't level everything to level 3, like all of my weapons, but when they show up for cheap like that, I will. So the challenge this wave is that, and even more specifically on wave 14, is that when the summoners despawn, they still spawn the goobers. And so as the number of enemies on the field increases, it'll hit the maximum entity count, and some of the enemies will start despawning. And when it does do that, we're going to end up with a lot of goobers on the field that we have to dodge their projectiles. So that can be really scary, especially for wave 14. So far, so good here, though. Small fish will recycle, and then I do need more attack speed, but I think I'm going to roll for armor or dodge. I also need more move speed, but I'm still going to roll for armor or dodge here. Do one more reroll and one more. This is getting pretty expensive, but getting those defensive stats is so important that I am willing to spend a lot of money on it. Unfortunately, I've missed a million times in a row, so I guess I will just take the HP. Take the hand, take the metal plate, and then I will roll again. We'll buy a peaceful bee, and we'll buy a butterfly, and then I will roll again, and metal will help fix my speed, and we'll keep buying alien worms. I need to remember that consumables are kind of completely worthless to me. You have to loop around the enemies so that you can get most of them on one side of you. Because if they're approaching from every side, you have fewer attacks to try to push them away. And so it's much easier if they're all approaching from the same direction. That's why you're going to see me both moving around the edge of the map and also doing these little loops. I was always going to take a hit there. And I'm always going to take a hit here, though, or multiple hits, though we did dodge one of them. And we got a lucky dodge there. You can see that when I take hits, though, the damage is still quite high, because my armor is still pretty low. The 9 dodge here is a tremendous gift. We're very happy with that. And I do have a move speed item coming, so I'm going to buy 2 armor here. I will buy these 2, and we'll buy hand. And I'll roll again, and roll again. Blindfold gives dodge, so I am going to take it. And little muscly dude does give HP. Is it worth spending 90 on 5 health? I think so. I have -4, like, consumable heal. So even if I buy the lemonade, we still won't get extra healing from that. So we'll just leave this locked. I don't care that much about luck. So I am going to buy the terrified onion because I do want positive move speed. We'll need probably about +10 to +20 move speed by the time we're fighting elites. And I need a bunch of attack speed before we get into the horde waves. And I do have horde waves coming up. So I am really looking for a good attack speed level up. Obviously, we want to get to dodge cap, and we want as much armor and regeneration as we can get. But other than that, I would say we're in pretty good shape. We need like 1 or 2 attack speed items or levels, and a little bit more move speed, and then just pure defensive stats through the entire rest of the wave of the run. My healing is definitely not adequate at this point, though. One thing that would really help would be an adrenaline, because, of course, we're building dodge on this character. Ghost outfit to go up to 70% dodge would be incredible as well. Fresh meat and plant I'm going to buy both of, because I want both lifesteal and regen, and we want as much as we can get. I'm going to reroll here and reroll again. Okay, a 4 armor upgrade. That's an incredible find. We basically couldn't ask for anything better than that. And then I will roll. I'll keep buying fresh meat, and I'll roll again. And for 15, I'll reroll again. I do want a move speed upgrade, so I'll definitely buy the terrified onion. I think we'll skip on the compass, because it's pretty expensive for what we get, but we'll take the cake, of course. So because I found that that +4 armor, I might not need to roll for armor on level 15. So I might be able to roll for dodge. I might be able to roll for attack speed if we still need that, which we currently still do. I do want to get in on that tree. I'm going to wait until closer to the end of the wave, though, so that I don't take a bunch of damage running for it. We'll pick up that one, though. And then with 5 seconds remaining, I should be able to safely run through, get both of those trees, and still survive. So pretty clean wave there. I don't want to pick up more harvesting. I'm just going to re-roll here. I could take 15 luck. It is a high level upgrade, and it will improve my level ups and items, but not by a ton. I think I'm going to roll again here, and I'll just take the 9 dodge. The attack speed would also be really nice. And then here, I could roll for a specific stat, but let's just take 3 armor. When you're offered 3 armor, it's pretty nice to grab it. Fried rice, if I had left scared sausage in the pool, the fried rice could be good. I did ban scared sausage, and it was really important to ban the scared sausage. You're going to see people saying, crazy to ban scared sausage, look, you rolled fried rice. That's 10 waves later, and we're in a much better situation because I started with that extra money. But we could potentially buy this in case I roll Incendiary Turret. I think that is a little too speculative. Incendiary Turret or Blazemander. Blazemander are a little less efficient at applying fire. But I think that's just a little too speculative. I could have bought it and then picked up the Flaming Brass Knuckles, because there's no law that I have to use only hands. But I think that it's still better to just pass there, because there's no guarantee we're going to roll this item either. At this point, I'm going to pass on hands. You don't really need to buy, on the level 1 hand, you don't really need to buy more knockback on hand either, because we could add 3 knockback, but we have 30, so it's only a 10% increase to our knockback. So boxing glove you usually want to skip on this weapon. I'll take the Scar. Saltwater I will take, because even though it's pretty inefficient, I do want the attack speed, I do want the move speed, we need both of those stats. And I'll roll here, I'll buy a helmet. A level 3 hand, so this would basically be plus 12 harvesting by combining those, and a pretty substantial attack speed increase, so I think I will take the level 3 hand here. Then I'm going to re-roll again, and we'll buy a mushroom, I'm very happy with that, and we'll lock a little muscly dude. Some other items I would really like to see, baby squid for extra regeneration. That's one of the best ways to get extra regen. Obviously, fairy is broken on every run. Something like a potato would be incredible, just giving me a bunch of solid defensive stats. Taking that hit does demonstrate that our armor has come together pretty well. We took 9 damage, and then we're taking 5 from the weak enemies. So really not that big a deal. But I am starting to lose a lot of health here. I'm glad I have the lifesteal. It lets me heal up a little faster. And we did fairly well there. I will now take 15 attack speed. That's going to help a lot to survive in the upcoming Horde wave. And then I do want... I wouldn't mind fixing my luck, but I'm just going to take 3 regen here. The regen is really helpful. I will take a level 2 hand. We'll take the little muscly dude. I'll roll. I already talked about how much I wanted adrenaline. This gets me over dodge cap and gives us a tremendous amount of healing when you're dodging regularly. I'll buy a broken mouth. I want to get to about 100 HP, and that, I think, should be pretty doable. We'll take duct tape for sure. Do I want to buy this hand so I could get a level 4 hand? I think it is worth doing that. The level 4 hand gives us 25 harvesting now, so more than doubles. And more importantly, attacks way faster. It's pretty much a 1/5 attack speed increase. So I think I will actually be leveling my hands a little more aggressively. I wasn't really taking into account how much they've changed this item, because it did receive several buffs in this patch. The enhanced spitters this wave are really scary. They just put out so many projectiles. It can be really tough to avoid all the shots. Now, we're lucky in that it's a darkness wave, so we don't have to dodge the enhanced spitter projectiles and the environmental projectiles, but I'm still just going to be taking a lot of hits here. Pretty much inevitably. Just trying to have decent movement so that I can avoid most of the projectiles, and we're trying to stay ahead of the enemies, but not so ahead that we're not life-stealing. I will take the Lucky Charm here. That fixes my luck, and it's fine to do that. And then I don't actually need more move speed going into the Horde wave. I need more regen. And as I mentioned, I'm going to actually level my hands a little more, because I hadn't been paying attention to how much better this item is now. So we're going to level up, so I will be leveling it. Alright, 2 lifesteal on the ritual isn't worth it. Jelly Shield will probably block 1,000,000 projectiles. I could get my consumable healing back to positive with the jerky, because we would go to -1, so that would be 2 heal per drop, but I still don't think that's worth it. I will buy a coupon and a hand here, and then I'll roll, lock another hand, lock a medal, and we'll keep a ritual back. Another Jelly Shield would be incredible as well. That would just help a lot in terms of just having fewer things that I have to dodge around is really helpful, of course, for this character. Now, it looks like we're doing really well at this point, and I think that this run is going very well. I don't want to say it's not, but I do think that when you lose on this character, you go from doing really well to dead instantly. And so I don't want to get complacent here or drop my scaling, because all it takes is a bunch of missed dodges in a row and then we die. Since enemies are pretty much always on top of me and are always going to do a lot of damage, since we're on nightmare mode and enemies do a lot of hits. So all that it takes is just a little bit of lax attention to my movement, or not scaling very well for one shop, and we could still definitely be in a lot of trouble. And I'll just take 2 lifesteal here, and then I will go ahead and upgrade my hands, buy a medal, we'll roll again. Campfire, it does cost me move speed, but I want all the regen I can get, so we're going to buy that anyways, and then I will re-roll here. Ball and Chain, unfortunately, our weapons attack faster than the Ball and Chain minimum, so even though this would be a solid item for us, the armor and knockback are good, we're not going to buy it. Poisonous Tonic's attack speed is very tempting, and the range isn't horrible either. I mean, it's not super useful, but more range does mean you're pushing back more enemies. But losing regen for 180 is not where we want to be. I'll take the Mushroom, though. I'll take the Duct Tape. Banner, I don't really want to decrease my knockback a bunch, and -5 is actually relevant, so we're going to pass on the Banner. I'll take Hand. I'll take Mouse. Do I want Candy Bag? Double Elite could be really scary, but there are a lot of stats that we want. Any armor we get is good, any move speed, regen, lifesteal that we get, but damage is all wasted, and we're already dodge capped. So I think we're going to pass on the Candy Bag here. Mostly not because I'm worried about the double elite, but mostly because I don't expect that the average roll on Candy Bag is going to be that good, since we basically only care about armor and the healing stats from the Candy Bag. So most of the time it's going to roll a bunch of wasted damage stats and stuff like that. And if we still needed dodge, I might be more inclined to pick it up, but since we don't, it's a lot less valuable. All right, you can see that I am starting to, I took 2 hits in a row there. They were both for 15 damage or so, which decreased my health significantly. I'm going to run back over here, and we'll go ahead and pick up that tree kill for 3 more materials and the potential of getting a crate. I want armor. I want regen. I think I am just going to roll for armor, though, and we'll take the +3. We'll keep upgrading our hands. We'll buy a mouse. Doc Moth is kind of interesting for this character. If I stay in the Moth aura, then we should get a lot of value out of it. So I think I will buy that. I will definitely take a duct tape, and I will... So if I buy the level 2 hand, then the level 4 hand doesn't really do anything for me, because I'll have 2, 3, and then 4 4s. So I guess only the level 4 hand is actually relevant here, so I'll lock that. And I do think it is worth spending 210 on it, because increasing the base attack time of my weapons, I mean, compare these cooldowns, it'll make sure to keep enemies off me significantly more reliably. I like that the campfire fire on our head turns green. And then I think I will just try to stay in the Moth aura as much as possible. We're mostly wanting to move in a circle around the map anyways. And this way we should have hopefully enough healing. And I have built enough attack speed that I don't need to be just on the edge of the map only. Wave 14, you're always going to take a lot of hits. I'm going to dip out here and grab that tree, and we'll grab that one as well. And then run back into the aura. All right. I would say that we are aura farming at this point. Just gonna stay at the edge here so that the enemies are constantly sort of following behind us. We'll take the sad tomato for sure, and then the moth will help us heal that back up immediately. And then I'll roll, and 4 lifesteal or 15 attack speed, both very tempting. I think I'll just take the level 4 upgrade. Triangle of Power just gives 1 armor, which is totally reasonable. I'm going to... And we don't care about losing damage, so is 160 for 1 armor worth it? Probably. I mean, armor is so good in this game. I'm going to take the hand. I think we will pass on Scarf. Enemy movement speed is really dangerous. So even though move speed and healing are both things that we want, we're going to pass on the Scarf. We're not picking up enough materials for Cute Monkey to do anything, unfortunately. Blood Leech I will definitely take. It gives us both healing stats that we're looking for. Bag we can pass on. Coral is actually pretty interesting to this character as well, because I have the Doc Moth. And so I'm going to be tap moving to stay in the Moth aura. So we probably will get a decent amount of benefit out of Coral as well, because we're often going to be tap moving in the Moth aura anyways. Now this is an elite wave. So what I'm going to do against this elite, because it doesn't charge at us, I think I'm relatively safe to just stay at the front edge of the aura. The elite will follow me, and we can kind of tank through everything. This wouldn't be possible without the Moth or the Adrenaline. If I had a different item setup, then I wouldn't be able to do this. But given that I have those 2 items, staying in the aura and just healing is I think the safest path to win this wave. And although it looks like I'm just tanking every incoming hit, I think if you kind of slow down the video or go watch it carefully, you will see there's actually a lot of positioning involved in staying there, where I'm kind of minimizing the number of hits we're taking in sequence. It's okay to take a bunch of hits at once because the invulnerability frames will save us, but we don't want to chain a bunch of hits together. So making sure that I'm kind of triggering all of the incoming damage at the same time is very important there. Yeah, I'll take 3% more lifesteal, and then I will take the coral. I will take a tree. Tree is still helpful here. We'll roll again. All right, I will need more move speed, but obviously we're not passing a warrior helmet, and then I'll roll, And then we got Baby Squid and Fairy, so 2 incredible items. The Baby Squid, even this late, is going to be like 5 regen, probably. So that's going to be really good. I love how many buffed enemies there are here. And again, staying on the front edge of the aura, and you can see I started to take some damage when I stepped out of that area, even though I didn't really leave the aura very long. When I stepped out of the front edge so that the enemies were coming from multiple directions at once, I started taking more hits. Now, fortunately, with Adrenaline and with the Moth Aura and good lifesteal, we can tank through almost infinite damage. I still definitely can't tank infinite damage, but we're in pretty good shape in terms of tanking. Now, right at the end of this wave, the number of buffed enemies was just getting to be too high, so I moved out of the aura and decided to just kind of run for it. The blindfold, I'm just going to recycle here. I could take it in case I find Ghost Outfit, but if I find Ghost Outfit, it comes with 10 dodge anyways, so we'll hit 70 dodge regardless. And then I will take 10% attack speed. I did want a little more. I'm going to roll here, and I will pick up a 45 range upgrade. I think that will be fairly helpful. We'll pick up the Fairy and the Baby Squid, and bag. I'm going to buy the bag because it comes with a regen from the Fairy. And we'll roll. I'm going to pass on all of this stuff. We'll roll again. I will take a tree and re-roll here. Landmine is 51 for a regen, but with none of the upside that the bag comes with. But I will buy a propeller hat with the regeneration there, and then I'm going to re-roll, and I will take another coral. And then for 42, that re-roll is too expensive. With double coral, I can basically just tap move in the aura here. Now, I do, again, want more range. Or, sorry, not range. More movement speed. I wouldn't mind a little more range. I was thinking, I had range in my head because I was thinking that the 45 range that we picked up is actually somewhat helpful here because, I mean, it's doing fairly well here, because it's letting me keep enemies a little more cleared out of the front edge of our Moth Aura, and so it's giving me just a little bit more room to maneuver around. And then I am going to run over here and break the tree just in case. Again, as the number of buffed enemies increases towards the end of the wave, I need to be a little more... I need to start moving, because that's how we die. I will take the head injury here, and then I'm just going to pick up 4 armor. And there's the Ghost Outfit. I was talking about wanting this. Now, obviously, losing 3 armor is painful. Losing 5 move speed going into an elite wave is incredibly painful. But going up to 70 dodge is one of the most efficient ways to increase your survivability. The more dodge you have, the better each point of dodge is. So Ghost Outfits giving you the last 10 dodge up to 70 is way more impactful than you might think it is. Tractor, it's a little late for. Obviously, we'd have bought that earlier. Bat, I will take, though, and I'll roll again here. We are re-rolling a lot, so even this late, the Spyglass probably would pay for itself pretty quickly, but I'm going to roll one more time just because... I'm really looking for a move speed item before I fight this elite. I didn't find one, but I will take the baby gecko because we have fairy and the range is mildly relevant as well. All right, this elite charges us, but I should still be able to just sit in the aura, and because it's going to charge past me most of the time. And we're very happy that we have the aura and the adrenaline again. I don't know that I would, again, be able to win this wave. I wasn't really thinking about it, but wave 18 is like impossible for the Pacifist normally. If you don't have the incredible healing setup that we do, because you just can't stay ahead of all these buffed enemies, and you're not going to have enough attack speed to keep them off you. Now I need to run a little bit there. I needed to distract all the little chargers because they were starting to pile up on top of me just too much. It's also very hard to tell where my character is. But we made it through. All right, I'll take jerky when it shows up for free. Or not quite for free, but for very cheap in a shop like that. I'm going to re-roll here and take 3 more armor. And then I will buy the little muscly dude. Spicy sauce is a little too expensive for the max health we get from it. I will take a fresh meat. And I will roll here. I don't care about increasing enemy health, and number of enemies is actually relevant. So Black Flag I could have bought earlier, but cursed enemies pretty dangerous to this character. So usually you're not going to want to do that. Coffee I'll take. 190 for 1 armor on the Triangle of Power. I'll still buy. Injection does give me a regen, and we don't care that much about losing the max HP, but I think I'm still going to pass on it. I will take the hand here. This baby squid is not going to do anything. Actually, the other one only has given me 2 regen as well, but Schmoop will take for sure. I almost passed on that, but obviously we do want it. What a wild run this has been, where we just became literally invincible in the aura here. I can't say I was expecting the run to look like this, where I'm just standing completely covered in enemies and mostly ignoring them. I was much more expecting to be playing a traditional pacifist run, where we run along the edge of the map, pushing enemies away from us. Had to stop moving there briefly. Okay, I have to step out of the aura and go kill that tree, and then I'll hold still. I thought I would get both trees there. Maybe I got both, and then another one spawned. And we get one that's along our path, but I can't leave the radius of the moth aura too much. We'll take the leather vest, and then 3 more armor. That's perfect. I'll take the schmoop, and then I will re-roll. I'll buy a coffee and another coral, and I'll re-roll, and capping my move speed is pretty, it's not something that I would have wanted to do earlier, but we're going into the boss wave, and I have the Terrified Onion I can buy first. And obviously 8 regen is good, 80 range is not bad either. And then we'll take a duct tape here, and I'll re-roll again. And I would buy the Terrified Onion if we hadn't just capped our move speed. I'm just going to re-roll for fun here. Alien Worm I would take as well. So looking at our defensive stats, we have 40 armor, 70 dodge, 30 lifesteal, 73 regeneration. So hopefully we're in good shape against the bosses here. Plus we go up to over 100 regen when I'm standing still, because I have triple coral. Now we are, again, going to be in trouble against the hatchers. Funnily enough, it's actually going to be a little easier after the 60-second mark, because the bosses are going to go into their second stage, where they start running around instead of just chasing you. So the octopus boss is like now charging past us and not keeping damage on top of us all the time. I don't know why I broke that tree. Actually, there was no reason to. I guess we do technically have positive consumable healing from the jerky now. So a little bit of breaking the trees is totally fine. What a ridiculous run here. I mean, basically, I'm just, I can't see my character at all. I'm just tap moving along the circle, just judging, just kind of guessing by where all of the dodge markers are coming from. And I'm just watching my HP bar in the top left. If it starts decreasing rapidly, then I'll try running out ahead, probably. But as is, we got a pretty phenomenal pacifist win. That was one of the most ridiculous and one of the most fun runs that I've played in a while. Even though there wasn't a lot to do during the actual waves at the end, I was just staying in the moth aura. It was so cool seeing how the plan came together and it was really fun getting to be that invincible. Looking at our items here, we saved 540 from coupons. The quad alien worm was great. Very happy that I did that. Peaceful bees were, of course, excellent as well. And getting to dodge cap so quickly mattered a lot. We had 100 HP from all the HP items we bought. 235 healing from adrenaline, but this number honestly doesn't showcase the impact of adrenaline, because this healing only happens when you really need it. It's when you only get this healing when you're already hurt and are still taking damage, and so the adrenaline healing is more relevant than most other kinds of healing because it only kicks in when you actually really need healing. So while it was only 235, that was still really impactful. 235. Almost 500 projectiles blocked by the one jelly shield, which is great. Extra enemies were very helpful for making more money. The triangles of power were obviously a little rough in terms of how much we spent on them, but the extra armor was great. Triple coral was really nice. It just gave us a bunch of extra healing. The baby squid was actually pretty bad. I guess I bought it a little late for it to be really impactful. Bag actually gave us 90 materials, even though we mostly bought it for the one regen from Fairy. And that's pretty much it. Other than that, we just bought purely defensive items and made our way to win with the Pacifist. I'm pretty pleased that I was able to do that on the first try. And so hopefully that gives you some idea of how you have to go about it. I think the important things are a lot of the normal rules don't apply to this character. Consumable healing is useless. Luck is mostly useless. Making sure that you get your economy online and then start massively pumping defensive stats is the only thing that really matters. So focus on that if you're trying to get a win with this character on Nightmare. All right, my friends, hope you enjoyed this run, and of course, if you have, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.